Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'll introduce about SVG and write a simple React.js program to manipulate a simple rectangle. SVG is scalable vector graphics, which is not a very recent technology, but the browser support is increased dramatically in the recent past. And this is inherently responsive design. That means when SVG file that looks is a similar way in a mobile device as well as in a bigger monitor like TV 4K monitor. SVG is kind of XML standard like HTML, like SVG also there are some predefined standard is available or predefined elements and attributes to draw arrows, lines and rectangle and so on. So let's learn today a little bit basic about SVG. Like this is how a simple SVG looks like. The SVG, it start with a root tag SVG and we can provide like height, width, any dimension we like. And this XML namespace is important. This is like, for example, package or some kind of declaration of SVG tag. Even though you don't give it, will browser will assume that you are providing this standard XML namespace, but it is recommended to give it. And this G stand for grouping a, you know, if you created a few shapes, then using G you can group it among themselves. And I given some example about rectangle. Rectangle you can give like width, height, so a rectangle can be created. Also you can give stroke and fill color and so on. For example, circle, you can give the center point like CX, the center X axis, and CY. And you give the radius of it, how big or how small you want. And also in the SVG, not only the different shapes, but you can also create very textual data also. It is not very powerful as like normal division and paragraph tag, where you can customize using CSS very effectively. But you good to know that in SVG also you can write text content. But the flexibility customization is not very good. So a couple of pros of SVG are like, it is like the way you are accessing like XML division, paragraph tag, and so on by using document selector. Similarly, using the DOM interface, you can access all the SVG elements. And as I already mentioned, it is resizable. Even the same file size will work exactly same size in a mobile device or a bigger monitor. You don't need to, the size won't increase. So the file size will remain intact. But if you use a JPEG and PNG file, the size you need to give a high quality bitmap image in a bigger monitor. Otherwise, it will look blurry. You know. And if you use multiple, there are one downside to using SVG. If inside one web page, if you use multiple, so many like hundreds and more than 100 like SVG icons and something, sometimes the rendering will become very slow. So you have to keep in mind. And using SVG, you can use gradients, like you can rotate it the various shapes. You can use some advanced filter effects to do blur effect and other advanced customization. And you can do some animation also. Like for other using JavaScript animation, you need to rely on some different libraries. But in SVG, there are some inbuilt animation thing you do without using some library. You can do inbuilt animation. And definitely using JavaScript, you can leverage this, capabilities of SVG. If you see, there are various, uh, these are the various icons we can use. Let's see some example. This is a simple HTML tag you can use like SVG. You can embed inside one HTML element. So the same thing I given. So here we given like width and height in the SVG level. If you change the width height like 500, let me save it. So width is increased. So you can play around with width and height of it. And this is the rectangle. So here you can create a circle, like I given like CX, CY position and rotation 80. So we can, if you increase the value, so circle become very big. So it is taking a little bit of time, this code sandbox, but we can manipulate using this circle values. And here we can write the textual content. So this SVG is being rendered. I have another example. So this is a very simple example, like rectangle SVG tag. We given width, height, and RX and fill. So instead of directly giving a fixed value, I've given some variable. So the variable I control using this. So the variable we can control using any vanilla JavaScript. In this example, I've used React.js. You can use Vue.js or any framework of choice. This is a simple DOM manipulation. So here I define like the value for width, initial value is 50-50, width and height, and rotation equal to 0. This rotation will control this rounded rectangle of it, Rx, okay? And I'm using a simple input range type of range, minimum of 1 to 100, and the value is width. Or if I change this width, then this width will be getting changed, okay? And similarly, the height also will be tied to this particular thing. Using this various control and rotate, you can change this circle rounded rectangular. So this is one simple example. So I want to play around more about creating very dynamic shapes using the combination of React.js and SVG, so that each and every attribute we can tweak it, tune it, and as per our need we can just use inside the project. So hope you learned something about SVG today. I'm planning to create more dedicated video using the SVG and going into a little bit depth about SVG. And using the React.js, I want to manipulate various tweaks and tricks so that in a combination they will work a great deal. So hope you like, guys. Have a good day ahead. Bye bye.